TrickLife.com.
Hey everybody. Today I'm going to talk about how to approach girls, how to meet girls, how to talk to girls, and how to ask them out on dates. Now, I'm not an expert, okay? And this is not Hitch. But I've been successful, and I do know what I'm talking about. But not everything I say will work for you. Not everything I do works for me. But if some tips help, great. Okay, so I don't know what you look like. Maybe you're ugly. Maybe you wear glasses. Maybe you have pimples. Maybe you look like an alien. Believe me, there's people on Earth that look like aliens. It matters because everything is based on a first impression. That doesn't mean that if you're unattractive to women in general, that you can't get a girl into your bed and fuck her. Of course you can. The number one thing that women like is confidence. That's the number one thing. So the first impression that you give to a woman, the first word you say to her, the first time you look into her eyes, everything about you has to exude confidence, not arrogance. Confidence. The difference between arrogance and confidence is very small. That is to say, you can come off as arrogant when you're just being confident, and you can come off as confident when you're being really arrogant. So it just depends on exactly what you say. And so that's why sometimes you will give a bad impression, because they will feel you're arrogant. But if they can feel that you're a confident guy, man, you're one step ahead with this girl. So people always ask me, Jordy, how do you meet so many girls and blah blah blah. And believe me, I get that question a lot, because I've been in situations where guys that that they're okay looking and they're successful, and they just don't know how to meet girls. They just don't know. And they see me with this girl and that girl, and of course some of them are really jealous and totally avoid me. But other guys are a little bit more smart, and they will come up to me and ask that question. And so I just tell them, you meet a girl anywhere. I'd be walking down the street. Did you ever have that? Okay, you're walking down the street, and this beautiful girl is walking on the street, right? And she's so beautiful, and her body's so sexy, you want to follow her home, okay? That's how beautiful this girl is. Or you really wish that girl was your girlfriend, even if you didn't even talk to her yet. Okay, but you have to imagine one thing. It's very impolite to go up to a girl like in the street or like on a subway. It's kind of freaky. Even if a girl comes up to me asking me out on a date, asking for my number, my first thought will be, damn, this bitch is a Jehovah's Witness, or she wants to scam me, or she's a prostitute. Weird things go through your head. So you have to keep that in mind. If you do meet a girl like in a public area, you have to be extremely careful about how you approach that girl. You have to be confident, not arrogant. But also, you have to be super polite, and you have to have a hook that really explains why the fuck you're bothering this girl in a public place. And you have to say something that right away takes away any doubt that you're some kind of a creep or a religious nut. Okay. So you might feel that this is a lot to remember, like you need a fucking notepad and bullet points just to go up to a girl. But if you're experienced, if you know women, it's not hard. It just comes automatically. And some guys have the type of charisma, and they have the ability to make girls feel at ease very quickly, within seconds. I'm such a guy, and maybe you're not. So you have to practice. And that's what I always say. I wasn't always like this, Man, it used to be like 6 or 7 girls out of 10 girls that I asked would reject me. Now it's the other way around. Now it's just 3 out of 10 would reject me. Now why is that? Well, one point is experience. The other point is that, yeah, I found that way to be exactly what they're looking for, and at the same time making them feel very comfortable within like 5 seconds. So for me to explain how exactly you can do that, it's impossible. Depends on the girl, depends on the situation. But what I just told you, yeah, just remember those kind of issues. Keep them in your head, and maybe you can just imagine in your head going up to a girl and saying hi and blah blah blah. Okay, so I meet girls on the street, in a bookshop, in a McDonald's, anywhere. So you always have to come up with some kind of a hook. And it could be very simple. Maybe the girl is listening to an MP3. You can ask something about her MP3. Maybe she dropped a piece of paper. You pick it up for her and you say something. It's a hook. You know what I mean? So anything could be a hook. Anything. Maybe you're sitting next to a girl and something happens nearby. Some people are having a scuffle or an argument. You could use that and talk to her about it. But you know, I have to admit that when I see a girl like in a public area, and I even don't really feel right to approach that girl because I'm not really needy. You know, I'm not desperate. I can get a pretty girl without having to do that. But if I do see a girl that I really think like, God damn, I've got to meet her, and I can't, or I don't really want to, in the sense that it would be too impolite, or she looks like she's in a rush, or she's with some other guy, something, to get rid of that thought, because it's very difficult. If you're really attracted to someone, you want to talk to them, it's an urge. And to eliminate that urge, if you see a pretty girl walking by, she has an incredible body, she's so cute, just imagine that she has like 3 teeth missing. Like, she smiles and it's like all yellow and disgusting, and you wouldn't even want to kiss this girl. But the rest of her is beautiful and sexy, except when she opens her mouth. It's a nightmare. Or you can imagine that she has STDs. Like, she's a walking fungal bacterial virus type of container. I know that's all ugly, but it works because it is ugly. Or just imagine a girl going to take a shit in the bathroom. Okay? And go on your way and, you know, go meet a girl somewhere else. So of course, you don't just meet girls in a public place. It just so happens that some amazing girls that ordinarily you will never meet because of coincidence, you will see them on the street, or in a supermarket, in the aisle, or in a bookshop, or a Starbucks, whatever. But this doesn't always happen. Maybe there are more constructive ways to meet girls. And these ways are, of course, try to enjoy a kind of circle of friends, and if you're not too attractive, if you're not so sociable, you can have a circle of friends online with people in your neighborhood, something like that. As long as you have some kind of a network, and I hate to use that word because that's not what it really is, but just that you're out there, that you have your feelers out there, that people know. Because it always happens that there's this beautiful girl and she noticed you, even though you haven't even talked to her, and you think she would never like you, and suddenly it turns out she really likes you and she was watching you and she was asking other people about you, and you don't know. You don't know. So put your feelers out there. Let girls see you. Just act cool, confident, be friendly to people. And when you do get a chance with a girl, if a girl comes up to you, it's probably already a sign that she was watching you. She was watching you. Okay, there's not enough space on this video, so I'm gonna make a part 2. So please look down at the video responses and then go to part 2.
TrickLife.com